What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As promised, I hope this uploads a week later whenever I finish editing it or whatever. We're gonna go in depth today with the Xiaomi 11T Pro's cameras. Now, this phone has an impressive set of cameras with its main 108 megapixel sensor, and it does some pretty amazing shit. So so I've gone out a few times, recorded a few bits here and there, going through all the features, everything. So let's get on with the video. Also, thank you for the support on the previous video. It's almost at 100 views as of recording this. So thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. Let's get on with the cameras, all right? Starting with the back camera, I'm going to be playing footage a lot. There'll be a lot of places where the footage is going to be there, not me talking, because I have recorded a lot of stuff that I want to show you guys. Starting off with the back cam, we have the 1080p 60 fps footage, which is obviously the base starter. There's an option for 720p 30, 720p 60, 1080p 30, and so recording with 1080p 60, it's as good as you think it would be. It's 1080p, really buttery smooth 60 fps. It looks really good, and the detail, especially in like highlight situations where there's an abundance of light, which most of these videos I'm showing currently are, which is out in the open at parks, when we went for a trip, whatever. The shots are amazing and just breathtaking to look at. These shots are great. Anyway, moving on, we have the 4K 60 fps videos, which is all with HDR10+, by the way. I'm using HDR10+ because that high dynamic range, it just looks so good. I am genuinely highly impressed by the fact that it looks so good. This is all recorded on the main 108 megapixel sensor, by the way. I don't think I recorded anything using the 0.6 focus, 0.6 ultrawide lens, because I don't know, I just forgot, I guess. But the audio, the footage is great. Even zooming in, it all looks perfectly fine. I'm amazed. But I just remember. Moving on to 8K 30, unfortunately this isn't, obviously it's not native 8K, there's no phone that can do native 8K as far as I know. It's native 4K or 6K, I think, upscaled to 8K, and it looks pretty good. I mean, there's not much to talk about. I don't think anyone will be using 8K on a phone. If you're gonna do 8K recording, you're gonna buy an actual camera for yourself, let's be honest. I do have to warn, a few of the bits of the footage that I showed before was recorded using a gimbal, so that's why a lot of the footage might be a little bit more stable than a lot of the others, so just thought I'd let you guys know that. Moving on to the camera's photo capabilities. The back camera's picture capabilities are just amazing. As you can see by the example I have on screen, they all look just great. Stunning shots out in the open. Again, this is positions with perfect lighting. I will have a night mode. I will show you guys what night mode looks like in a bit, don't worry. So it's pretty good. The sensor is great. Moving on to the portrait picture, the aperture, you do have aperture control, which is great. So the shots come out really good. The background's really blurred out. The subject is properly distinguishable, and there's no like edge lines or any issues like that, so that's pretty cool. And over here I'm showing you guys a little example of how the different zooming versions work. Here is a photo in 0.6, a photo on 1x zoom, and on 5x zoom, and now on 10x zoom. So around 5x it gets a little blurry-ish, and then 10x, you know, it's not really that useful. Get a Samsung S22, you get that 100x smart zoom, dude, just go with it. Also, I do want to mention, really impressed by what Samsung has done with the 100x zoom, the AI rendering to make it look better, even though the original photo might not look that great, which big up to Samsung. Moving on to the ultrawide alone. The ultrawide is amazing, the shots taken on this. It's a 0.6 zoom, so it looks great. It has the ultrawide is I don't remember the megapixel. Let me quickly check it out. It is a 8 megapixel ultrawide. Sorry, I forgot about that. The 8 megapixel ultrawide is amazing. The photos just come out great, and again, good lighting conditions. We'll be moving on to night mode in a bit. I really like the photos taken on this. Totally impressed. Finally, the last, what did we say? The last lens on this camera, the macro lens. I do wish that Xiaomi had done what Apple did with the iPhone 13 and their whole switching of cameras whenever you zoom in or zoom out to. They did it with the ultrawide, but they didn't do it with the macro. They should do that with the macro. It's a software, but I'm sure they can do it. So, by any utter luck, if Xiaomi is watching, that's one recommendation I would say. The macro pictures come out great. The level of detail in each of these pictures are amazing. I love messing around with the macro lens to take those close-up shots of just my jeans or the grass or some just random shit. You know, I've had a lot of fun messing around with that. Moving on to the front camera, which it actually has a 16 megapixel sensor, if I'm not wrong. It's capable of 1080p 60 FPS recording. And here's a video of this. Here's some video of me recording the front camera. So this is the front camera on 1080p 60 FPS. I decided to use the inbuilt mic so you guys can see how clear and crisp the audio is and stuff. Pretty smooth video quality. Again, this is 1080p 60 FPS. Unfortunately, there's no 4K available for the front-facing camera. I mean, unless you actually give a shit about that. Who's gonna use 4K footage from a front-facing camera, yeah? The front-facing camera is amazing for both video, as you've seen in the previous clip. I mean, depending on what you use it for. I don't use the front cam a lot. Rarely, if it's for TikTok, I might, but other than that, I don't. And the selfies come out great for a 16 megapixel sensor. I do highly recommend it. I don't take a lot of selfies, and the beautification mode is off on all these photos that I've taken here. But if you're a person who likes it, sure, keep it on. But it's a solid cam. All right, moving on to night mode. The sensors are great, all right, especially the telephoto macro. I think does some decent work. But moving on to the back camera, the back cam 1080p 60 FPS footage should be rolling right now. It looks great. The details okay-ish. It is what it is, you know. But I did really like the footage on the 8K, as you guys will see in a second. Moving on to the 4K 60 FPS. Again, this is on HDR10 Plus. The footage looks great. It is a really dark time, so you can't. I'm in a park right now, but you can't see any of the greenery and the plants, obviously, because it's like really dark. Even I couldn't see shit. But yeah, this footage looks fine. And then finally, we have the 8K 30 FPS. For some reason, it's quite brightened up in comparison to the 4K or the 1080p, which in a way, pretty fucking good actually, even though it's only on 30 FPS and the fact that HDR is not on. All right, moving to the pictures taken with the 1080p, at night mode, they look pretty good. This is with the main sensor, and these come out pretty great. I unfortunately couldn't do one where I just zoomed into things because I forgot. I'll be truly honest, I completely forgot. I was in kind of a rush, so sorry about that. But yeah. It captures detail quite well. Of course, if you zoom in like with your hand, you can see that it gets a little bit blurry towards the edges, towards the end, but still great shots nonetheless. Moving on to the ultrawide, the photos come out stunning. I think there's a lot more detail. Less detail obviously because it's a smaller sensor or whatever. But it looks pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, I do like the photos that are taken using night mode on this lens. And yeah, I'd rate it like a 7 out of 10 maybe for night mode. All right, moving on to the best part about this phone. Well, kind of best. The extras, all the features that you have built into the software. These are all done by the phone. So I just want to remind you guys that, okay? We'll be starting off with one of my most favorite features. It's really sick. It's called erase mode. So if you took a group photo or some shit, yeah. This is one guy who wasn't supposed to be in the photo, maybe it's a waiter at a restaurant, whatever, you want to get him off, boom, you can erase them just like that. Which is a great thing, by the way. I think the Pixel 6 has it. Now, this is not as good as the Pixel 6. It allows you to erase people specifically, and it allows you to erase like manually like you do on Photoshop, but nothing more than that. But I really do like it, and it's a step up definitely from anything I've seen on quite a few phones. Now moving on to the vlog mode of this camera, of the phone. It basically allows you to record a few clips and then basically edit it for you. There's a lot of options, you can just scroll through them. And I just shot one I just shot one randomly and I thought you guys like it, so just watch it. It's a really cool feature. If you're out traveling or something and you want to record a quick montage, this would be a really cool system to use. I don't think you can use pre-recorded video to the software. You have like record it as you go. So that sucks, but it's still pretty cool. Moving on to dual video, I'm not gonna talk over it because I need you guys. I just explained everything in the video itself, so watch. So this is the dual video feature, which basically allows you to record the front cam and the back cam at the same time. I'm outside right now. I'm at a park. I just want to show you guys there are different ways you can have it like arranged. So you can have it switch to like side by side, or you can have the face be the big one. It's good for like vlogging or whatever. You can't see my face because whatever, the exposure is not that great, but it's a cool way to record videos for YouTube if you're doing like a vlog or whatever. But yeah. As for panorama, I took one vertically and horizontally, both with the back camera, and so these are the ones. They actually perform really well. I did take these shots using a gimbal, however, because I just assumed that, you know, it'd be a bit more stable than just using my hand. And the shots came out great. I do really like, but I'm not the biggest fan of panoramas, so I don't have a lot to say about it. Moving on to the slow-mo capabilities, it did a good job, I would say. It did a decent job. I wasn't able to record more than just one slow-mo video, but this turned out quite well, at least I do think so. Slow-mo is a feature that a lot of people really like. I do personally. I don't know about others. And I think the phone did do a pretty good job with this slow-mo. This is a time-lapse recorded. It's about 20 seconds long, and I think it took 2 minutes in real time. And I do a time-lapse is something that I wanted to do, maybe like with cars or something, but I wasn't able to do that, so I just took recording of people walking in the park. That's about it. And I do think it looks sick. I just like time-lapses, you know. So yeah. Now, the next feature is something I really like. It's called the clone feature on the camera. And there are 3 different types. There's the clone picture, the clone video, and the freeze frame. Starting with the clone picture, you just have a person walk and then like it move around the camera's lens, and you can basically create a story with like 3 people if you want, with one person standing in 3 different places. If you wanted to, I just had my sister walk across, and it turned out pretty well. Next up, we have the cloning video, which basically just creates clones of the subject as they walk by, and that you can create like a story, like the 2 characters interacting, as you can see in the video that I'm displaying right now. And last but not least is the freeze frame. You have a person walk across the camera, it chooses a subject, and it freezes them at random points, and then like when they walk again, when you're watching the video, it looks like they're like absorbing the different versions of themselves or whatever, and it's really sick. And this feature would have worked really well if I was at a skyline or something, but I wasn't. I got it on a lake. It's like a parallel, you know, really cinematic shot that you can do, and I really like it. If you're recording a movie on this camera, I think you'd enjoy that. This camera does have something called movie FX. There's a lot of things. There's a magic zoom, which is basically just a dolly zoom. It's got slow shutter, time freeze, nighttime time lapse, the parallel world, which I just showed before. But I couldn't do everything. I got to do the parallel world. I want to show you guys the magic zoom, which is again basically just a dolly zoom, and it looks stunning. It does some really cool work, and I just wanted to show you guys because I really liked it. And so that's it. I really like this specific effect on the phone. Then there's another one called, it basically just takes the background and removes the color from that, and only the subject, the person, has color. It looks really sick. I don't know what you would use it for, but you can use it for something if you wanted to. And this is the last feature available on this camera. It is not one of the more effects or whatever. It's just there as a part of the video features. Like if you just go into video on the top, it should be there. It is called movie mode. What it basically does is it creates 2 black bars and like has the footage in the middle, so it looks like you're watching it in a theater, you know, without the IMAX and shit. It looks like that. Just a cool little feature. I thought I'd mention it because it's just there. I thought I'd mention it in the video because I did take a few videos with it. But yeah, overall I'd give the camera system on this phone maybe an 8 8.5 out of 10. It is highly underrated. This phone is highly underrated. Okay, I fucking love this thing. I really like the camera on this. The camera set is amazing, and I do recommend picking this phone up if you can. A majority of the features that come in this are extraordinary, and not a lot of non-Xiaomi devices have a lot of the extra effects that I showed. So I think if you are a filmmaker, and well, if you're not getting an iPhone, it's better to get this one. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Use code 675 in the Fortnite item shop and the Epic Game Store. I mean, no. Yeah, and store 974 to get 3% off your next order. With all that said, this is 675 signing off. Have a good